It began with a report by David Aiken that Justin Trudeau would be out of the country as Canada rang in its 150th year as a country, and his office would not say where. Following up, Aiken and columnist Chris Selly discovered that Trudeau and family had been guests of the Aga Khan on his private Bahamian island. Repeatedly over the subsequent months, the National Post journalists were first to break new information on the story. By year's end, the Federal Ethics Commissioner found that Trudeau had violated conflict of interest rules. Judges said the persistent work of Aiken and Selly stood out in a highly competitive news environment. The Paradise Papers marked the largest leak in the history of journalism, but unlike past revelations about global tax havens, this disclosure of 13.4 million tax records was striking for the insights it revealed into the highest levels of power in Canada. In a series of exclusive reports, the Toronto Star's Robert Cribb, Marco Chown Ovid, and Alex Boutelier revealed where politics and the offshore tax haven industry intersect in this country. The coverage prompted a week of intense debate in Parliament, scores of investigations by the Canada Revenue Agency, and proposals for legislation to stem the loss of billions of dollars from tax coffers. Judges said the series represented a monumental work of investigative journalism. Noor Javid and Kristen Rishoy of the Toronto Star broke dozens of stories about dysfunction behind the scenes at the York Region District School Board. Their reporting shone a light into chaos and disarray at Ontario's third-largest board, leading the education minister to order an investigation that found a culture of fear and a lack of ethical leadership. The board's director of education ended up being dismissed, and a human rights office was established. Judges said the dogged work of Javid and Rishoy, particularly in the face of personal smear campaigns directed at them, was a testament to the power, impact, and importance of local journalism.
The award goes to David Aiken and Chris Selly.
You go first.
Oh, okay. Well, I would like to thank the person who told me that Justin Trudeau went on vacation on the Aga Khan's island. That's most of it. I'd also like to thank Anne-Marie Owens and everyone at the National Post for running a newsroom that's just a delight to work in every day, you know, in times that are tough. And it's the pleasure of my life to work for the National Post, and this is a great plaque to honor that. So
good for you, Chris. I'm 3 times with the National Post Media. I keep leaving it to go work for TV, and then I come back. I'm working for TV now, but if the Post, you're still here in a couple of years, I don't know, maybe I'll come back. First, Chris Selly. It's the first time I've worked with Chris. Let me tell you, he is punctual, he is always neatly dressed, and his spelling is impeccable. I want to work with Chris again, so thank you, Chris, for that. Just another thing, Marcus G. just came up here a second ago for writing about the Aurelia Packet and Times. That was my first daily newspaper, Marcus. And here tonight as well was my city editor at the Aurelia Packet and Times, Randy Richmond of the London Free Press. Randy, if you could stand up. Randy's a Missioner Award winner, folks. From the Aurelia Packet and Times, the racket and crimes as we call it, back in the day, the paper Stephen Leacock wrote about in Sunshine Sketches no longer exists. I grew up in Guelph. There was a paper there that lasted for 150-odd years, the Guelph Mercury, and it no longer exists. Newspapers are special things, very special things. And the work all of you do, the work I once did and one day may yet still do, is very special work. It's really important work. We're doing it on tablets and phones, and that's fine. There's a couple of digital-only entries tonight, La Presse and The Athletic, I think, are a couple of them. Keep it up. We have to hold people to account. That's what we do. This is category politics is about that. If there's copy editors in the room, and you're talking about this Justin Trudeau Aga Khan story, you've offended me by saying that he broke rules, that he violated guidelines. He's the first prime minister in our history to break the law. That's what our story was about. He didn't break a rule, he didn't break a guideline, he broke the law. And his people didn't want to tell anybody about that. And we told that story. And that's what people do in Orillia or Thunder Bay or Nanaimo, not so much anymore, all around the world. Please keep up the good work. I hope to come back to an NNA again in a couple of years. Jerry Nunn, if you'll hire me again, I don't know where Jerry is. Thank you. I want to thank Jordan Tim, Anne Marie Owens, my buddy John Iveson in the Ottawa Bureau, and Jerry Nunn. Thanks very much.